Hey HBs, we're back for another episode of Heaving Bosoms, the podcast where two best friends read romance novels, mostly recommended by you, and sift through the prose for entertainment, life lessons, hilarious tangents, and to warm our hearts and hopefully our loins. We're going to start with a Patreon shout out because we love nothing more than to worship at the feet of our amazing supporters. Jadine T, you are a pukwudgie, a mythical forest trickster that can appear and disappear at will, use magic, launch poison arrows, and create fire. You tend to be grumpy and value your independence, but you're also hardworking and super loyal. Most importantly, pukwudgies are known for their tendency to steal pumpkins and hoard them for personal use due to a true love of autumn. A pukwudgie loves a warm scarf and a PSL and a bonfire just as much as the next girl, and you are not going to be ashamed of it. And now, for the conclusion of The Covert Captain, or A Marriage of Equals by Jeanelle M. Ferreira. Keep listening at your own risk, because this episode caught us both incredibly jet-lagged, punchy, and almost impossibly even less sure of the plot in the second half. It's a ride! Hi, Erin!
I'm going to make unrelenting eye contact with you during this entire podcast.
I've got goosebumps.
Melanie. Welcome to either the best
or possibly the worst.
or the worst episode we've ever done.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're in the same room.
Oh? For the first time in Everdom.
Could be good.
Yeah.
Could be bad.
Could be totes terrible.
Because I feel like the possibility of just giggling the whole time far higher.
Yeah.
Also, we read this book 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago.
Listen, here's what happened. We read this book a really long time ago because we were pre-recording for me to go to Taiwan. And then all of a sudden, it was going to be a 2-episode thing. And so we were like, we don't have time.
Ruined everything.
Yeah.
Why do we talk so much about this? It's a short book. Why did we?
Especially since we didn't understand any of it.
Yeah, and then, like, I'm not even sure I actually read it the first time. And then we waited 4 weeks to do the part 2.
Yeah.
And now, Melanie, I planned to read it a second time. I didn't willfully not read it, but I subconsciously decided not to read it.
Same.
Now here I am, and I don't remember one fucking thing that happens in the second half of this book. And here I was like, you know what? I remember when, like, they, like, the one proposed to the other, and then she found out, and, like, I remember that whole thing. There was a nose punch. Now, come to find out that we already recorded that part, and I think that's the last part I remember.
Yeah, I have notes through chapter 17. That's it, though. I think there's like 30 chapters.
Oh my God. Okay, guys, listen, here's the thing. We're sorry, but, like, I'm so tired.
Yeah, also, Erin's been up for 24 hours at this point, maybe 26 hours.
I'm so tired. Like, I tried to say, what was the word? Trampoline? I tried to say, this microphone smells like a trampoline, and the only word I could think of was parachute. That's where I'm at. I'm
And earlier,
so tired.
You were like, she's standing at the sink, and she was like, oh, what's going on? And I was like, what do you need? And she was like, I just need the soap.
Mel,
It was soap.
I'm being completely honest with you. I have no recollection of that moment right now. Guys, I got on a plane in Alaska at like midnight last night, and I don't know what time it is, but it's midnight tonight. And now I'm at Melody's house, and it's just so crazy here.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy here?
I meant in my brain. Internally within Erin, it's so crazy in here. The neurons are not connecting at the rate at which I would like.
No, I hear you.
Earlier, we were like, we can't do this, but we have to do it. We're going to have an extra week. And then I was like, what are their names? I don't know their names,
And then
Mel.
I said their actual names out loud, and she goes, that's not
That's not right. You said Nora. I remembered that was one. Nora. And then you were like, Harry. And I was like, fuck you. There isn't a girl named Harry in this. And there is.
There is.
Oh, man.
Yep. There's Nathaniel, Nora, and Harry.
Yes.
So, Erin, guess what?
Melody.
When we left off, there was...
I'm on the edge of my seat.
When we left off,
Yeah.
Nathaniel Nora had just proposed to Harry,
Yes.
gotten the acceptance.
Harry then felt her vagina.
Harry then was like, DTF.
Yes.
And that went poorly.
Yes.
And the last thing that happened was Nathaniel Nora saying, oh, so you hate me that much then? And then Harry looking at her and saying the most gutting thing and saying, I don't hate you. I don't know you.
Oh, incredible.
Oh.
And then wasn't there like a nose punch? And then there was like blood on a
It was
doorknob.
more of a flail, I
There was
think.
a doorknob blood.
Then there was a juice punch in the face.
What's a juice punch?
Like she threw her punch in her face.
Oh, right. I do remember that because I confused the word punch with the word punch in the last recording. And that is the end of the book, guys. And doom, 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 doom. Love yourself as much as you love confusing trampoline and parachutes. Are we done? Oh, are you going to keep this? Should we start over?
No, this is amazing.
Okay.
All right. Here we go.
Okay.
So
Tell me what. Maybe it'll jog my memory a little bit. Maybe you'll be okay. We're sorry. Hey, you guys. Hey, listen. It's free. Okay. It's free.
this is free fucking content.
Yeah. So you know what? You're not losing anything except your time. You can turn it off right now. That's what I had to say. See what I've done? I switched over into
You're reversing
bitter.
it.
Yeah.
How
I
dare
didn't
you?
want you to listen anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't you come at us.
Stop it.
Right.
Okay. Now I'm ready.
Are you? I like this new energy.
Thank you.
It's good stuff.
It switches at some point in the evening.
Okay. So Harry is on a drive in Hyde Park in a carriage with some bitch who never comes back. Okay. But she is with some bitch. Her name is Philomena Parrington.
Come on. Nope.
Yep. Some happens. Listen, my notes are Harry out driving with some bitch, see Thaniel.
Okay. Yeah.
I think they might throw a shoe or something because my next note is no, not the lady. The horses throw a shoe.
The horse does. Stop making me look stupid in this book. Between this and the frogs, I swear to God.
No, you should have seen Erin's face when I said
Throw
they
a
throw their
shoe? Like that George W. Bush situation? Like that's what I was thinking of. Oh,
Ooh.
man.
No, not like that.
Okay.
My next thing is, or maybe they like drop a rain. I don't know what they do. But Nathaniel comes and takes care of some horse thing. That's why they stop and talk to each other. Otherwise, they can't talk to each other.
Right.
Because like they are spurned.
Spurned.
Yeah, somebody's spurned. They might both be spurned.
They're both spurned.
Yeah.
Harry's definitely spurned.
Oof.
I think Nora's kind of spurned too because of that very hurtful thing that Harry said. I'm just going to continue to talk about this one scene that I remember.
The one thing you know about?
Yep.
No, I hear you. So basically, Harry is like, I'm going to ride home. You can do whatever you want. You can hang out with Philomena fucking Parrington. I need to go home. I'm going to ride, I think, your horse. So give me your horse.
Is this bitch somebody that like Harry's involved with now?
No. Just a pal,
right,
just a person to hang with because
okay.
she's soups upset and needs distraction.
Yeah.
So then Nora, the passage says, people will stare, she warned, at a woman astride in the row. And then Harry says, if you can bear it, why should not I? And it's in like inner monologue. It says, Harriet could not find a wit to care if Philo heard.
This bitch has a nickname?
Yeah.
She never comes back?
I love that that's your takeaway from what I just read. Now, granted, it was hard to parse.
Yeah, I didn't understand any of the words except for that one. But like, here's the thing though, like Nora rides astride dressed as a man and everybody thinks she's a man. So it's like a whole different thing, Harry.
Not to
when
mention
you do it.
that my note is, I bet he cares if Philo hears you say that or whatever because of the pillory situation. They're always talking about getting pilloried.
Yeah, they are talking about, they do that a lot.
They do that a lot. Yeah. So I'm like, Harry, don't blow up her spot just because you're fucking upset.
Well, sometimes you can care, but like not care in the moment.
She couldn't find a wit. Erin. I had to look back at my notes just to make sure that's the phrasing.
Let me go to bed. All right.
Okay.
Now,
get up on that microphone.
I'm there.
Okay.
What's
It's a different
next?
kind of microphone. You got to be up on it.
That's the sound of me eating this microphone.
So then, listen, my next note is she goes to his house at ass crack of dawn,
His
dressed
house
as
meaning-
Little Red Riding Hood.
Meaning Nora's house?
Nora's house,
Okay,
yeah.
Dressed as...
Little Red Riding Hood.
Did she intentionally?
Here's what I think happened. In my vague recollection, she needed to get out of the house in a disguise, and so she couldn't wear any of her own coats, I
Mhm.
think, or something. And so, or maybe it was like a friend's house. Listen, she borrows a coat. I almost said a frock, but in this case, that's a dress, I think. Like in Englandtimes, that's a dress.
Capelet.
There you go. But yeah, it's like bright red, and she's like, oof, I meant to be disguised, and yet I stick out like a
And
sore thumb.
A picnic basket.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
And she's picking flowers on the way and eating all the cookies.
Going to Grandma's house.
Little Red Riding Hood is the rudest kid in the whole wide world. Can I just say that out loud?
Yeah, let's take as long as a tangent as you need. What's up?
She and fucking Goldilocks. Oof. They're so rude.
Goldilocks definitely rude.
Yeah. Little Red Riding Hood eats all the puddings or whatever before she even gets to Grandma's house. She's chomping on the puddings.
Oh, was she supposed to bring those to Grandma?
Yeah.
Oh, I
That's the
didn't
whole
know.
point. She's like on a trip
No, I
to
thought
bring
she just had a snack for the
Grandma
way.
some cookies.
No, I just thought she had a little snackaroo
No.
on her way. Oh, man. Remember earlier today when I was so tired that I laid my head on your dining room table and said, do we have to do the podcast anymore? Why can't we just be friends?
Yeah. Yeah, there was a moment, you guys, where Erin was quitting the podcast.
I quit the podcast because I was too tired. Okay, so
she rallied.
She's in the capelet.
Yeah, and I don't super recall how it happens, but she has like a turn of everything. She's like going to his house, her house, because she's going to tell him,
Nora.
Yeah, so I guess now we call her she.
Nora.
We use
Yeah.
she pronouns now
Yes.
because
I don't know what the book's using. What's the book using? I don't know.
it changes
We're
still.
calling Nora a she now because she's been revealed to
Yes.
all.
Yeah.
That's what we've decided.
Basically, it's like it goes from if you can bear it, like literally that note, and then it goes to Harriet stood in the snow in Clarge's mews, shivering and stamping until she could no longer feel her feet. And then she starts talking about her goddamn red coat. And
What? No, Melody, it makes no sense.
I know,
She's
but
just
the scene,
stomping
yeah.
like a tantrum, like when Rooster doesn't have her food yet.
Well, I think she's trying to warm herself, but basically, yeah.
Oh, okay. So she's stomping.
And then the door opens, and Harriet shrieked and nearly tumbled into the street. I don't know why. And then it says, I ought really to hang the knocker, but dash it to hell, I can't find it. And then Harriet says, Captain! By the end of this scene, Harriet has told Nora that she's completely changed her mind. She wants to know Nora's real name. She tells Nora that she loves her, and then it's on again.
TM.
I don't know if it's on TM. Wait,
Oh, sorry.
I don't know.
Take it back. Okay, cool.
But like, I'm sure they talk about it at some point because that's how romance has to work, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't.
My God.
I'm sorry, you guys. This is the worst
Guys,
episode ever.
we're sorry it's so bad.
If
you
aren't
are listening for the
I get
first
it.
time-
Oh, this is never us. Okay,
Stop
listen.
it. We are so much better. Listen, we usually know some of the characters' names,
Yeah.
most of the plot.
At least like 40% of the plot.
Yeah, listen. Remember when earlier this week you were talking to me about I have sounded pretty dumb on the podcast lately, and we need to like really
Get
work
it
on
together.
sounding
Yeah.
smarter and not just like being funny and being dumb. We're not.
Well, we didn't do it.
Here's my proposition.
What's up?
Intellectuals in 2020.
Intellectualism in 2020?
Intellectualism in 2020.
Is that our hashtag? Our new
Well,
hashtag?
Professionalism in 2019, I think, was a
Have we
slam
done
dunk.
it?
Swoosh. Swoosh. Off
It's
the,
true.
Off the net. We did it.
We did it.
Swooshed it in the net.
Yeah.
So I think as long as we resolved to get it done in January.
As long as we have a hashtag for it, of course it'll happen.
Our hashtags usually work.
Yeah, no, totally. This is like the new saying it into the universe. Is this our new The Secret?
Yeah. We are dreamboarding being smarter in 2020.
If Demi Lovato can do it with
Demi Lovato
Mike
can dreamboard
Johnson?
into Mike Johnson. We
Into
can
him.
do this.
Right into him.
Right in there. Listen. Hashtag dueling bring it back in 2017.
It's true.
Hashtag professionalism in 2018. Wait, 19.
2019.
Fuck. Fuck me. I don't know numbers, Melody. All right. What
Okay, we have
happens
to
next?
focus.
They're back together.
All right. So they're back together and it's beautiful. That's what happens. And then, okay, and then we, after Harry tells Nora that you don't even have your Kindle up, you dick.
What would I do with it? There's no notes in there. I don't know what all these words mean.
Oh, no.
I thought it was frogs. What would I do with it? I'll open it. Here's me. I'm opening it up. It's no longer the lady with the telescope. It's now sentences like, Harriet agreed, though the captain would have looked as well riding backward upon a jennet.
What?
For speed, I dare say it is Black Darnley, or one like him. Captain Fleming is much trusted in matters of horse flesh. Good, I'm glad I opened it. Now I know what's going on.
Okay, listen. So then this is serious business, okay? After Harriet tells Nora that she loves her and that, like, she wants to use her real name in private, she has to still call her Captain Fleming in public. But she's like, tell me your life story or whatever. And Nora does. And essentially, from my recollection, you guys, when Nora was younger, she was a middle daughter of the family.
I remember this part, yes.
Yeah, and then the oldest, the heir, fucked off to do heir things.
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody else was like dying of fucking fever.
Yep, I
and
remember
then everybody
that.
else did die of fucking fever.
Yes.
She was like 16 at the time. Her younger siblings died. And then her older brother had just been purchased a commission.
Yes.
Her older brother, Nathaniel, her namesake, I think is not how that works at all. But that's what I'm saying.
She took his name.
That's
She
the one.
did a Mulan, you guys.
Yep, she did. Yeah.
She took his name and she...
So he dies. She gets the death certificate, changes his name to her name, and then she goes to audition for the cavalry with Sherry, and then, like, it's on. It's, like, off. They do that.
It's not on. But it is off as far as the war.
Yes.
I have a really important question for you now that you've made me open my Kindle.
Oh.
What chapter are you in?
Chapter 10.
Still?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Then they fall asleep, I think. And Nora wakes up from a bad soldier dream, is my note.
Ah, yes.
And Harry asks her to mend the light so she can look upon her lover. I think that means light a candle.
Yeah, that sounds sweet.
Yeah, no, totally.
That sounds really sweet, you guys. They're in love. She wants to gaze upon her in the candlelight.
And then what she wants to do is go on a really excellent muff dive. That's what she needs the light for.
To find out where you are in the book, I'm going to go ahead and search muff dive so I can get
that's
to
definitely
this part.
what it's going to be. Honestly, my note is oral ?
Yeah, because
I'm not
sure
super sure it
how
happened.
it was worded was like, and then Harry came upon her dithers and flimbled the schmingle. And then that was the sex scene, you guys. It was like all words that you'd never heard of before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, let me see if I can actually find it. So, Harriet. Okay, time had gone from her head. She was teasing tremors from Eleanor's inner thigh.
Oh,
when the rushlight...
that's not a dither. That's an inner thigh. I know what that is.
You've heard of that before?
Yeah, I've heard of an inner thigh.
There you go.
Keep going.
Well, then it goes south.
Not the kind of south we want. A different south.
Not quite. When the rushlight hissed and sent them into darkness. I'm thinking a rushlight is a specific kind of candle.
Yeah, Pacific kind
You're a
of
fucker.
candle. I wouldn't have noticed if I weren't in the same room with you, but I saw it.
So Harriet made bold. So emboldened by the darkness.
She made bold.
No, she is emboldened by the darkness.
Yeah.
Yeah. She makes them bold.
She's big bold.
Yep. She twisted to embrace Eleanor's legs upon her shoulders.
Yeah, I know what that is.
Yeah,
okay,
you do.
Okay.
Yeah, you do.
I herbs this because I didn't know what was in there.
With Eleanor's pulse beating mad against her ear. Harry! She cast a steadying hand over Eleanor's hip and pressed forward.
This is Harry going down on Nora.
Yeah.
Get it, Harry?
I know, rookie of the year.
Yeah,
Harriet, right?
Okay, yeah.
So she hand on Eleanor's hip and pressed forward, thought one shocking, clear moment of her salvation, and darted out her tongue.
One shocking. Oh man, she thought about whether she was going to hell for a second, and then was like,
"Is that what that means?"
Yeah, I think that's what it means.
No, she cast a steadying hand over Eleanor's hip and pressed forward. Yeah, so her face is going forward.
Yeah, that's the muff dive.
Thought one shocking, clear moment of her salvation. You're right.
I really think she had a moment where she was like, "Do I want to go to hell?"
Slurp.
Yeah, I think she was like, do I want to go to heaven or do I want to dive face first into this muff? And she chose that muff.
Yes. Every time that's got to be the choice.
Yeah.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
How beautiful.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it though. That's the end of the scene.
All right.
Oh, and then we've got this inexplicable flashback to the other homosexual soldier in battle times.
Oh, right.
I don't know why that happened.
Let's just skip that. Let's just move on.
Well, I'm just going to briefly. There's this huge flashback about this youngin', a coronet maybe, who comes to...
Youngling.
That's the one. Who comes to Nora's tent while she's with her lover, who then ends up being Sherry's lover. Nobody cares. Then they go on this ride to find Sherry because apparently he's like drunk face down in a road somewhere. And on the way, they have this whole conversation about how the coronet is fucking a major somewhere and how he thinks they're in love. And Nora has to be like, he has a wife and kids at home. You need to lock it up.
Yeah.
And
I think that the last half of this book spent, I think is the operative word here. I believe in my core, but I don't have a lot of evidence for it.
Yeah.
The last half of this book spends a lot of time being like, gay people existed in this time period. And this is how they existed.
Right.
Here's one way they were able to do this. Here's another. Because at some point they go to like a house full of gay people that are like living together.
The Tom, Cat, and Molly house.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's what the slang was because I Googled that. But I think...
Didn't Google frogs though. She was just sure.
Why would I Google frogs? Have you ever seen the word frog in a book and thought, I ought to Google what that is? No. Because you learned what a frog was when you were 4.
Ribbit.
Yeah. Frog has never meant anything else. Why would it? Why?
Fair enough.
Sorry, I ruined all your levels. What were we talking about? Yeah, I think they spend a lot of time being as kind of like a historical examination of the different ways people carved out a place for themselves to be with their people. And some of it was like, oh, I'm going to go off to war and leave my wife and kids at home. Some of it was we're going to have this house where we're able to all be together, you know, that kind of thing. There's mentions of like prostitutes and that kind of thing too. There's a lot of different things. Anyway.
Yeah. In the moment, though, I was like, what's happening? Is this person going to come back? Is this a new friend?
By in the moment, I meant the whole book. I was like, what's happening? I think I'm right about that.
I think so, too. Yeah, it's a very good take. Okay. Well, and then the other thing is, I also think that it was a vehicle to show the penalty for being gay.
That true, too. Yeah.
At least if you were a man.
True, too. As I adjust my monocle and...
Okay, so the next thing that happens is that he asks Sherry for Harry's hand in marriage.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah. And Sherry says yes, but he doesn't want to... Oh, but he doesn't want to hear of his love for her. He doesn't want to hear about how much Nora loves her. Mm-hmm. He's like, yeah, you can take my fucking sister, but do not tell me how charming she is.
Really weird.
It was really weird. So then Harry goes to Nora's house very early and wakes her up. And she's like, how anyone thought you were a man when they got to bed with you, I don't know. And then Nora's like,
Yeah, that's not.
She's like, at that point, they knew I was a lady.
Like, I date gay ladies.
Right.
Like,
totally. So then my note is, then there's confusing talk about knowing she was a lesbian and knowing other people and like how she knew other people tended that way.
Well, I think Harry is very nervous after Nora was like, no, I don't trick people into thinking I have a penis. I mean, Harry.
I mean, listen, I did that with you, Harry.
Too stupid to live in this situation. She's like, I don't know how people had sex with you and didn't notice your lack of penis and existence of breasts. Why? I must just be the smartest one of them all.
Ooh.
And she's like, no, you know, this is kind of how I suss out maybe whether or not a woman would be interested and all this kind of thing. And then Harry gets very nervous because again, she's like,
she literally says, and you saw that in me? And then Nora says a very sweet thing. She says, I saw you and I thought I would risk the rest.
Very sweet. Oh. But again, maybe a little honesty before the proposal would have gone a long way there.
Uh-huh. So then Harry wants to dress like a man. And we've got the really problematic scene in the jewelers thing. You don't remember the jeweler?
Jog my mind a little bit and see if...
Well, honestly, kind of unintended. Like, the jeweler. The amount of times Harry says, are we going to visit that Jew? Like,
what?
Englandtimes. Yes. The Englandtimes talk for this Jewish family is Banana Town bonkers.
Okay, this time I'm so panicked about getting done with this novel before the last time we recorded. Last year, I was listening to this thing on 2 times the speed while doing other things. So I probably thought that they were saying jeweler when they were saying quote unquote Jew.
It's
because I do not remember that at all.
Yeah, like literally there's a point at which Harry says...
Saying it in just like this is the word we're using way or like in a disparaging way?
I think it's both.
Oh.
She's an aristocratic English person, like a white Anglo-Saxon English person.
Yeah.
And Eleanor really, she actually sort of pushes back at it because at one point, as they're walking out, Harry says something like, what did the Jew mean by when he said that? And she's like, well, I believe he has a name and his name is this. And what he meant was this. Like, it's real problematic. And I think it's supposed to like illustrate the way that Jewish folks were treated at the time because they talk about going to a specific neighborhood in which this jeweler exists.
Oh, you know what? I do kind of remember that.
Yeah. And like, it's cool because this particular establishment, the family there has been a friend of Nora's family for forever. Mm-hmm. And at some point, I think Nora's grandmother had to like pawn a bunch of her shit. Mm-hmm. So they're going there to get some of Nora's family heirlooms back for Harriet for like a ring or something. And Harriet actually insists that Nora get a signet ring back that's meaningful in an Englandtimes sort of way I don't understand. And then she's like, oh, this is how we get to the Molly house, too, because the jeweler is like, are you going to introduce Harry to the owner of the Molly house?
Right.
So that's when she's like, oh, I hadn't really thought about that. But yes, I think I will. So then that's the next scene. Yeah, but it's like not cool.
So wait, which of these 2 characters did which thing? Like, which one was like that Jew and which one was like this person has a name?
So Nora, the one that has been systematically oppressed her whole life, is like, maybe we don't do oppression to other people.
Family is friends with this family. Okay. And it's Harriet is the one. I just need to know.
No, yeah.
For reasons going forward.
Yeah. So
I don't like that Harriet. Turns out. Yeah. Turns out I don't like her as much as I did. Things happen. Mistakes were made. And I don't like Harriet now.
Okay. Then they go to the Molly house. And at the Molly house, she's dressed in her normal, like, frock situation. And
Nora.
Yes. No. Nora is dressed as Nathaniel. Always.
Harry.
Yes. Because when they went to the jeweler, that was when she was dressed as a man. And, like, Nora gave her man lessons. And she was like, you need to walk with your back straighter and you need to...
And I remember thinking, like, Harriet went from being, like, full-on straight lady in Englandtimes, not knowing that, like, gay ladies existed.
Right.
To, like, being okay smooching a lady to, like, full-on I want to dress as a man in, like, a very short period of time.
Well, we find out
with a muff dive in between.
I know. I know. Like, she really
goes full bore.
But here's the thing. We find out way later when we meet her super awful mom that she's always sort of been like that. And that's one of the reasons she had such a huge reaction.
Yeah, I remember when we found that out.
Yeah, there's like a...
Carry on. As you were.
Okay, so there's this really awesome scene in this Molly house where there are men either dressed like super flamboyantly as, what's the term? God damn it. Dandy, like in a dandy fashion, but like, you know, to the nines. Or I think there are actually men dressed in dresses as well, like corsets and dresses. I don't, again, we've
the words
this for the record.
Aren't normal, but they
Not
sound
super
like
sure.
they could mean dresses.
Yeah, who knows? There's like a really pretty musical scene. Then like she starts talking to another lady who likes ladies.
Mm-hmm.
This is where she starts talking to her about like mollies and tomcats. And Harry's like, am I a tomcat? And then the other lady's like, I don't know. Are you? Like, do you want to identify that way? It's really cool because I think it shows the way that a lot of marginalized communities allow a lot more freedom in naming. You know what I mean? Or like how you identify in labels in general. It's just really cool. So,
and letting her say that instead of saying,
instead of ascribing it,
because you're here and you like to muff dive, this is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Then we find out Harry gets a little jealous about one of the ladies. Don't super remember who or why.
I don't remember that either, but I do remember the jealousy argument.
Yeah. And then we find out that Nora has a room there that she like always has. So they spend the night there up in this tiny attic room. And it is really cute though, because talking about Harriet's progression up until this point, she goes from freaking out that Nora is a lady to then at this point, she's like, I think Nora's like drunk or tired or something. And Harriet essentially says, I don't know, if you're not going to put out, I'm going to go find that other lady. Like
Harriet
joking.
does?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was Nora.
No, are you kidding? Nora would never say that. She's trying to make Harriet feel comfortable with all this.
What the fuck is Harriet? I don't like her anymore. Also, I was just flipping through my Kindle here where I have... Shut up. Melody's like giving me signals about like, get back on the microphone. Yes, just because I'm here doesn't mean you're the boss of me. Okay.
You're on a different kind of microphone. You can stand 6 feet away from your microphone and it's fine.
I'm Melody and I get to tell Erin what to do all the time. Well, I'm Erin and I don't have to do what Melody tells me to do all the time. What were we talking about? Harriet. Oh, I was just flipping through the thing and I found another situation where she got mad and started stomping. I think that's something Harriet just does.
She's a rooster.
Like Rooster when she doesn't get her food on time.
When you don't put salmon oil on her food.
Bird chirp. Bing. Boong bong. Bird chirp. So when Rooster doesn't get fed on time, she throws a tantrum where she sits down and she stomps her front paws on the ground and makes unrelenting eye contact.
Yeah.
Stomp, 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 stomp while looking at you. If that does not work, she will take Goat's metal food bowl and start throwing it around the room.
And it makes a big
tossing it. Yeah, we've been on FaceTime when this happened. Yeah. Rooster's bowl is a rubber bowl because of this situation, but we didn't want to take the privilege away from Goat. I've been putting salmon oil on their food because they've been having some allergies, some skin issues. They love it. The other day, I forgot to put salmon oil on their food. I just gave them the regular food. Goat, sitting down. Yum. Me gusta comida. I'm eating. So polite. Such a
Gracias.
great... Yeah, gracias. For the comida. Thank you. Rooster, sitting there stomping her feet.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what, bitch? What? I gave you your fucking food.
Eat it.
She takes her mouth and gums that rubber bowl.
That's right. She's got 3 teeth total.
Hurls it across the room. Kibble everywhere. And then just sits down and looks at me like,
what?
Yeah. You see what I did? I put your fucking food all over the ground because it didn't have my salmon oil on it. What? Like, I don't know.
That's right. So Rooster and Harriet, same people.
Yeah, similar. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So,
except for, I mean, Rooster's not an anti-Semite that I know of.
Sure?
That I know
She's
of.
a hashtag MAGA. I don't know.
She's a Trump supporter, but I mean, She's always been very warm to all of my Jewish friends.
Fair.
I've never noticed any difference. Oh, God. Is Rooster an anti-Semite?
She might be. Okay, so what happens next? Oh my God.
Are you reading it for the first time?
I basically am. So the next thing that happens is that Sherry shows up at goddamn Nora's house. It's early in the fuck morning. Early? What?
Early in the fuck morning. Early the fuck morning. Yes, Mel?
That's the one. So he gets there and what's-her-nuts is there. Harry's there. But, like, they managed to get dressed or whatever in time. And Sherry, oblivious guy that he is, he's like, "What? Harry, you're here so early. Jeez, you're just engaged. Like, you don't have to show up here and cook his breakfast." As if they didn't spend the night together. I know.
What is Sherry? God.
Well, especially
What a loser.
Especially since he's there to pick them up to go to a hanging. They're gonna carpool to a hanging.
Guys, hurry up. Oh my God.
So
maybe he just thinks she's that big of a loser.
Maybe.
Or Nathaniel is.
She is a dried up spinster who was on the shelf for a lot of years. So he's like, listen, you sealed the deal already.
Although, I don't know about you, but I've been reading a lot of literature about spinsters that have been on the shelf for a few years, and they turn out to be nasty, dirty sluts.
Oh, yeah.
As far as I'm reading in these historical accounts. Yeah.
No, they do.
Yeah. So
that's right.
Sherry didn't know. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, you should go for the spinsters.
Yeah, you 69. Should. Yeah. They'll dive right in there.
Okay, let's get back to the hanging, shall we? So I also don't know why this happens because it never comes back. Basically, they go to this hanging because an old army buddy has been stealing.
I remember this. And I was just like, why are we here? What is going on?
Yeah. So then Harry accompanies them for no reason. They all go there. They watch the hanging happen. It's sad because it's a hanging of a friend who like is so hard up. I think he started stealing stuff. I don't know.
Why do you have me looking at my Kindle? I keep looking down to be like, yeah, I've got to keep up and figure out where we are. And then I see the house's owner wore mourning weeds and a white cap starched high as any dowager. Set between her teeth was a pearl-stemmed pipe. Your captain is away for the steeplechase.
No.
What are these? Harriet's reticule chimed with coin when she shook it. I know what that means.
A
means she's got some loose change.
It's a purse, I think.
Yeah, reticule. Yep.
Okay, so listen. So then afterwards...
Am I where you're at?
No. I have no idea where
Am I before? Am I after? I don't know.
Okay, then they go to the widow for some reason.
The widow of the hanging man.
Yeah. And she's got a baby because they just had a baby.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I vaguely recall. I think it's that thing you were saying where she's like, this is how people who had same-sex relations existed. So they talk about it and they go to the widow. She like throws things at Nathaniel, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. What? Was this not the army buddy from before?
No, different army buddy.
Oh, I thought this was the army buddy from before. The gay one.
You know what? Maybe. I don't think so, though.
I think I just assumed that because that's the only reason for that chapter to make sense.
So, no, what actually happened, now that I'm recalling, is that she was a washerwoman. The widow was a washerwoman, I think, in the army, like by the army, next to the army, for the army, any of those things.
Yes. The watcherwoman. She put all the clocks in the trees. No, different.
Washer, like a laundress.
I see. I got you. Yep.
Oh, God. So I think she also maybe moonlighted as a sex worker for the camp because Harriet, by the amount of vitriol that she's spitting at Nora, Harriet deduces that they used to be something.
Oh.
Yeah. And I think when they leave, Nora sort of lays it out and she's like, yeah, we did some stuff because I think I paid for it. Pretty sure.
Woo.
Well, yeah, because she moonlit as a sex worker. Then she fell in love with that guy in the army and then they became a married couple and then he got hung.
He committed a crime.
Which was a hanging offense.
Yes.
So
Dealing.
shit, bro. That's what happens.
Yep.
Okay.
Doesn't matter to our plot. Anyway,
No.
where do they go next?
Okay. So then mom is coming. Oh,
Oh, no.
Sherry's
Mom.
like, moms are coming. So you need to get ready. And you need to get your man friend ready because mom's coming to meet man
Make
friend.
sure he's shaved.
Yeah. Get all that stubble that doesn't exist off.
Mhm.
Make sure he's dressed in a real nice waistcoat. I think that means a vest. So Harry is trying to make an outfit for Nora. And all caps worried is my note. And then she tells him that she was sent to seminary because basically her mom caught her kissing a girl or something.
Harry.
Yeah.
Oh. But whoa, Harry.
Uh-huh.
Wait a minute.
Tell me.
Harriet.
Yeah.
I have just learned for the first time today that Harriet was kissing up on girls
Yeah.
long before Nora.
Yeah.
So why is she such a bitch about everything?
Well, I'll tell you because I have a quote that I pulled from the book
Thank you.
4 weeks ago.
Thank you.
The quote is, and it's heartbreaking, so get ready.
I'm ready. Always. I'm always ready for my heart to be broken.
It's true.
Lay it on me.
So she says, when I met Nathaniel Fleming, her eyes closed tight. When you kissed me, I thought I should die of it. And I thought, thank God, I'm no monster after all.
Oh.
Because she was turned on by a dude, she thought.
My heart is broken. It's
I
broken.
know.
But, hey, Harriet,
Yeah.
how about
Well,
stop being a bitch about everything?
listen.
Because she was very like, what is this? Why is she? You saw this in me? How, like, come on, let's dial it back a little bit.
Well, but think about the amount of self-loathing and familial hatred she's had to deal with all her life. She got sent to basically like religious boarding school. She got sent to conversion camp by her mom.
I think that I would feel better about this now, learning that this is the plot of the book, that if we would have had, because we get a lot of internal monologue from Harry early on.
Yeah.
None of this was present that I
know.
saw or remembered.
Mm-hmm.
And I read the first half of this book pretty thoroughly, like more than once.
And you
I
listened
read a
to
lot
it
of
too.
yeah, and I listened to it because this was a tough book for me. I had
I
to
know.
look up a lot of words.
Well, and think about when we were talking about his description at first.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there could have been more Easter eggs that showed that Harry was attracted to
Right.
the sort of feminine things that were present.
Yes.
You know?
Or something about how she had struggled with, because there is a lot of conversation about how she's a spinster,
Yeah.
that sort of thing.
Right.
We're treated to her inner monologue, so I don't know. If I was a spinster, I'd be thinking about that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right. So lunch goes badly. Lunch with mom.
Oh, really?
Real bad.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Remember that.
To the point that they like leave in a huff. I think the mom is like super really fucking rude to everybody. And Nora is like, hey, you don't treat people that I love like that. And she like Englandtimes flips the table and gets the fuck out.
Which means she like
Or maybe Harry.
cordially got up after dinner and left before like the brandy round.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe Harry runs off in a
So
huff and Nora
thank you
goes
for
after
dinner,
her.
everyone. I had a really great time.
Yeah, that's
I'm just a little sleepy, so I
Mhm.
must go home now. Here's a gift I've made for you. And then
That's-
leaves.
that sounds
And
right.
everybody's like,
How
How dare that bitch.
Yeah. It's either Nora or Harry. One of them fucks off. The other one goes after. I'm pretty sure it's Harry now that I'm
because
talking
it's her
about it.
mom.
So then carriage comfort sex.
Oh, I like a carriage sex.
Yeah, yeah.
Tell me about it for the first time.
Harriet gets a traditional Highland-Times finger banging.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah. It's good stuff. Oh, and then they go to Vauxhall. I think that's a park.
Vauxhall.
Yeah.
Okay. The next thing that happens is Vauxhall.
Well, no. Harry drops to her knees and goes down on Nora against a tree. Erin.
Ooh, bing, boom, bong.
Bing, boom, bong.
Sex against trees.
Yeah.
We spoke about this once before
We did during What Are Eggs
during
episode.
the What Are Eggs episode after the fall. We talked about how
Hypothetically speaking.
if anyone on the podcast I just listened today to the Chuck Tingle, like, hypothetically, if you had sex against the window of a skyscraper, it would be real fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
Wouldn't like it.
That was from our Chuck Tingle Bigfoot hunt.
Anyway.
Yeah, Bigfoot doctor lawyer.
Hypothetically, also, if you ever had sex against a tree, it hurts like a bitch. And like you get a lot of like dirt embedded in your back and you get like a bad rash. And also ants will bite you.
Oh, no.
It makes
in your intimate places.
No, on your back. Like it just fucks up your back for a while. You've just got a big back wound.
Okay.
For a long time after. Depending on the smoothness of the tree.
And they have a lot of clothes on. She's got like a shirt and a waistcoat and a coat.
What I was going to say is,
hypothetically speaking, whoever was on the podcast who did that might have been in like a sundress.
We didn't say that anyone on the podcast had done this.
Oh, sure.
But
if they had,
I'm not telling you that. I'm not saying any of this is...
No.
Listen, a friend of mine once had this happen, and I had to put Neosporin on her back. That's the story.
What I'm asking is, did your friend have clothes on her back at all? Or did she not have any? Or was it like a spaghetti strap situation? Or was it a we're out in the wilderness forever and we're naked situation? That's all I'm asking. How many clothes were there in your friend's situation?
My friend was in a bra.
Okay.
Or a swimsuit top. I can't remember for
what
when
she said.
She told me about it. Okay?
No, that makes sense. I would have a hard time remembering details like that if it were a friend's experience.
If it was just
too.
like your friend
I know.
a long time ago.
Right.
Okay? Listen, here's what I'm saying. If you need to have sex against a tree,
wear clothes.
Do it like these two did.
Yeah.
Just do oral sex. There's not going to be as much up and down action for your back to get injured for weeks.
Oh, no. Wow.
Bird chirp. The end.
Bing boom bong.
Never again, Melody.
Safe tree sex with Erin.
Trying to do a hypothetical to make the podcast educational for people.
I know.
Precautionary tales. Me go and expose my friend like that.
Okay. So, all right. So then they go back to Nora's house because, I don't know if I just didn't finish this note or what, but it goes from Nora's house to a full quote, and it says, "And if thy mother should spy us?" ? And then Harriet says, "With a man this time!" ! Why, she'd be dead of joy.
So they're trying to like make out in front of her mom.
So basically, like, Nora's like, "We're gonna fuck. Like, what if your mom catches us fucking in your room?" And Harriet's like, "She'll think it's with a man this time. She'll be so excited." Yikes.
How manly does Nora look?
Especially when she's naked.
Yeah,
like,
that's what
not
I'm
at all
saying.
manly.
Like, not very. Once you take off all the man clothes, you should be a little more cautious.
A little bit more circumspect.
Yeah.
All right. So then Sherry gives Nora money for their wedding at breakfast so they can have like pretty clothes and stuff. It's nice.
Okay.
Then there's this really cute scene about clothes and going on display, like, you know, showing each other off. And then Nora gives Harry a ruby ring that she bought with Sherry's money. And then Harriet calls her my Lord Captain in a really cute, flirty way.
That sounds hot.
And it's adorable. Oh my God, Erin. And then shit goes sideways. Are you ready?
Everything.
Okay. So they're at this like engagement party, I think.
For themselves.
Or maybe just a party.
Okay.
Pretty sure it's an engagement party for them, though.
Okay.
And this doctor comes out of the fucking mist and is like, "Hey, Captain Fleming, you remember when you got that big giant shoulder wound in the wars?
Uh-oh.
I might have been the doctor who cut off your shirt to doctor up your wound." Wink,
tits.
wink, nudge, nudge.
Boobs.
Look at those titties.
Came out in England.
Her boobs came out in wartime England.
Oh, God. I feel like wartime England is like better.
Like a better place?
Yeah.
Than just like an English garden.
Yeah, because there's like more shit
Oh yeah,
going.
distract.
It's like I can't. Yeah, it's like I see the boob, but like I've got other things I've got to care about right now.
Yeah.
Boom, Whereas like if it's just like an English garden and your boob comes out,
all you're looking at is the
that's
tits.
the top priority. Everyone's bored out of their mind, and so they're like, priority one is that boob.
Right. I hear you. But still, so he's like, I can't let this go on. You gotta get out of this engagement because it is a mess. Okay? You're not a dude. And that's illegal times. And And so,
man, how are you gonna get out of that? Maybe you're just like, but Harriet's a dude. Maybe you say that and just be like, we just like cross-dressing.
Have you checked under her skirts?
Oh, maybe you're just like, I just have boobs.
Right. And a penis. Yeah. No, totally.
I don't think that would have helped.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, that's a tight spot. How do they get out of it? Melody.
Well, they don't. So Harriet comes over and she's like, hey, so I thought you might need to be extricated from that conversation. And Nora's like, DEFCON most extreme. He's talking about going to tell Sherry about shit.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, that doctor squirrels himself into Sherry's study and tells him everything. And boy, does Sherry react badly. So it gets like vitriolic. He's like,
Sherry
I can't
didn't even know what sex was like 5 chapters ago. So I imagine this is a lot for him.
Fair enough. But Sherry immediately is like, I can't believe that I've known you for 10 years. I mean, like, I understand the deception part, but he's like, but one of his biggest things is like, I can't believe that I gave over command of my men to a woman.
Oh, fuck you, Sherry.
Yeah, fuck you. Especially since she did such a good fucking job, Sherry. You haven't had a thing to say about it until now.
Yeah, and like you were like, I don't remember a lot about it, but pretty sure that like, what's her face?
Yeah.
Nora.
Yeah.
Was like way better than the men, right? Because she was like feeding them more. Or like first or something. Listen, guys, if you go back to that like first dinner party where they talk about why Sherry called the spaniel or why the other one's called the spaniel, Nathaniel. Yeah, Nathaniel's called that one. That very first dinner party. They talk about something about how Nora Nathaniel is a better leader than... No, I'll take care of it. Continue on.
Okay, so he's like, and also, how dare you doctor me so well in the war? Which is what happened. Nora wouldn't let him die. She was like a dog with a bone.
Spaniel.
So I think I might. So then she's like trying to talk to him like she's always talked to him. And he says, oh, no, I'm sorry. She's like taking a moment to think. And he says, will you not answer when I address you, you bloody-minded bitch? Holy fuck balls.
Oh, my God. And listen to this from the first dinner party, which I found.
What did you find?
Nathaniel's saying, so what's his... Sherry is saying something about the winter of '16. And Nathaniel says... Nora says, I was not there, I'm afraid. I was still mucking around in a field hospital in 16, and that was a dashed, hungry winter. Dorcas Beauchamp. Who knows?
Pretty sure it's Beecham.
Sure. No, fuck off. Look. Bon Tomps. Beauchamp. Hermione. What's another thing I can make him mad about? Come at me. All of you.
You're frisky tonight. With your exhaustion.
You know how... Listen. Hired Erin works just like drunk Erin. It's giggly for a while and out of it for a while, and then I come out swinging. All right. Beecham.
Yep.
Is there a P? I don't... You know what? Fuck it.
You don't care.
I don't care. Looked up from her dacoits. Nope.
Dequois?
Sure.
I have no idea.
As though the captain had not said hungry, but spotted pink. What a joke. Captain, surely there was enough for the ranking men to eat. Fleming, which is Nathaniel Nora, cleared his throat. It is an officer's duty to look to his enlisted men. Do you not think so?
Yeah, that's true.
So
he shared his food. He's feeding them.
Yeah.
Or something.
More than the... I just remember coming away from this dinner party thinking that Fleming was a good leader and Sherry was not. Anyway.
Oh, yeah. It's actually Fleming was a good leader and Dorcas's husband was not.
Oh.
Yeah. But yeah.
Carry on.
So
Fleming was a good leader, though.
So with careful force, Eleanor put off Sherborne's hand. She turned to Harriet and held her without knowing who steadied whom. And then he says, "Madam, I will see you pilloried, put in bedlam, horsewhipped." And then Eleanor says, "Bear up, Harry, my love." Eleanor kissed her forehead. "Let go now, for Sherborne makes a scene." Oh no, before Sherborne makes a scene. "If you came to harm over this." Harriet spoke for the first time in a quarter hour. Her voice was not broken. "I am bearing up, Nora. I am not the first soldier's wife to say farewell."
Oh, that's very sweet and stuff.
And dramatic too, Harry.
I like that, but I don't like Harry very much anymore. It's difficult for me.
It's hard. Yeah. She's a little bit of a racist. So, all right. So then a week has gone by, Erin. A week goes by. Silence. Doesn't hear a fucking thing.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, she gets summoned to Sherborne's house.
Okay.
Summoned, I say.
Who does? Nora?
Nora. So she arrives and she's like ready to get skewered, you know?
Yeah.
And Sherry's like, "No, you've got a visitor here." So she goes into the study. Her brother's there. Eldest brother, heir to the kingdom, is there.
Oh no, the one who didn't die of the fever.
That's the one. Yeah. So he's like, "Nathaniel, I haven't heard hide or hair of you in years."
What?
Uh-huh. He's like, "Did you have no care for your woman that you put her off or whatever?" And Nora's like, "I did no such thing." And he's like, and he turns and he drops his newspaper or whatever. And he's like, "It is you, Nora."
Oh, okay.
And
she's like, "Dude, it's me, Nora." Like, I don't know why you're an idiot.
I don't know what your deal is.
Like,
So yeah, they have this whole confrontation in which he's like, "I'm gonna take you wherever and discipline you like
Pillory,
women
horsewhip.
should be disciplined by
Yes.
older brothers, I guess." And Sherry all of a sudden finds some loyalty and he's like, "No, you fucking won't. This is one of my men."
Good for Sherry
Yeah.
for the first time ever.
For the first time ever. So then, basically, they get to the point where they have to duel. Sherry and her older brother.
Good, because in the recommendation for this book,
Yeah.
I was promised a duel.
Mm-hmm.
This book was recommended when we were #BringBackDueling.
Really?
That's how old this recommendation is. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. So if you're still listening,
Oh, thank you for your support, and you're
Yeah.
awesome. And I'm really sorry that we are butchering this book because I don't remember the duel at all. I don't. I'm so sorry, everyone.
look at this bitch over here. Neither do I. Look, maybe
duel at
I
all.
can search duel.
So listen,
Who wins it? Who fights in it?
both of them.
Who does the duel?
Neither of them win it. You know what happens? This is actually really important. I sort of recall what happens now. The brother gets like a flesh wound.
Of course, I did a search for duel. Duel does not appear in this book because I'm sure it's called like a smishmarsher. Jesus.
Yeah, that's
We're
right.
going to have a galley hoof at Dune, which means duel at noon. Why not?
What?
A galley hoof.
What's a
That's my
galley
new
hoof?
word for duel that I've made up. This book reads like the Jabberwocky.
I like it. Oh, it doesn't to some people. I think people who are smarter. I don't know.
I'm not complaining about the writing of this book. I think this author is just far smarter than me or you.
Yeah.
And because of that, I feel like an infant trying to read the English language when I'm trying to read this book.
Yeah. Oh, so Sherry chooses Nora as his second. And then the brother is like, "I refuse to have that soldier here, sir." And Sherry's like, "On what grounds? You want to say him out loud in front of all these people and shame your whole family about how she's a lady dressed as a dude? Is that what you're going to do right now?"
Yeah.
And he does all of that with his eyeballs, you know?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. And then Cahoon, I don't know how to say his name. The
Oh,
heir-
no, it's Beecham.
Go fuck yourself.
Fuck you.
He goes, "Consanguinity, sir."
And then he took his vorpal sword.
No, consanguinity is an actual word.
They're all words. They're just not ones I know.
Yeah. So he's like, I don't give a shit if this captain is your brother and you've got the same blood. This is my soldier. So anyway, the dude, he gets a flesh wound.
Yeah.
And then they fuck off, I guess, is what happens.
The whole reason I wanted to bring back dueling was I felt that it would weed out some toxic masculinity. But it seems like I've read a few romance novels now that include duels, and everyone gets flesh wounds. So maybe it's like bring back dueling, but like be better at it. Hashtag bring back dueling, bring it back, be better at it.
Yeah. Hit your mark. So listen, Nora, like, doctors the wound bit.
Nora!
And then she's like, go back to our hometown, the estate, and forget I exist. And the brother would not speak to her. It says he spoke to her not again. So,
Sherry?
No, the brother.
Oh, the other one.
Her brother.
Her brother. Okay.
Yeah. Then Sherry gets really upset because he sees blood on Nora and he's like, ooh, you're hit, Fleming. Are you okay? And she's like, no, I'm fine. I'm totally cool, but I'm really glad that you care.
Yeah, thanks.
It's really nice. It's like we're pals again.
Yeah.
After that, she starts exercising horses on the Rotten Row.
Good.
Because that means things to people.
I'm glad she got back into her horse exercises.
That's the one.
She's living her best life.
She knows the most about horse flesh. We know that.
Yeah, I did read that out loud
That's
at one
right.
point. Yeah.
So here's what happens. They like try to be apart, you know?
Mm-hmm.
She's not allowed to be around Harry. Harry's like at their estate, wherever that is.
Mm-hmm.
But then I think she's like writing letters and they all get burnt unopened or something like that.
Which one?
There had been 2 letters from Harry posted by the upstairs maid, Eleanor thought, and talks about how the maid got out of there because it was her half birthday. Like, I don't need to know that.
What?
I know.
We
No, it was a half holiday.
No. Bing, boom, bong, bird click, chirp. The maid had to get out of there because it was her half birthday?
No, I fucked that up. No, it says posted by the upstairs maid, Eleanor thought, on her half holiday to Burnsea.
So you turned half holiday to Burnsea into half birthday?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I was about to lose my shit that half birthdays meant anything in old-timey England. Okay.
If only.
I was about to descend deep into Mad Hatterdom. I was like, are we? Honestly. Okay. All right.
Okay. So Harriet's plain hand filled the pages and margins with hope and sweetness and grief. There had been one from Sherborne early on to say that Captain Fleming's dispatches of the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th of the month and C period had been burnt unopened.
4th, 5th, 6th.
I'm pretty sure that means that letters 3 through 6, Sherry, and like maybe more.
C period.
Does and C period mean etc. maybe?
And C period.
There's not even a space in between. It's ampersand C period.
Who could ever know?
Literally not me.
Wow.
Absolutely not me. So Sherborne's burning the rest of her letters.
Mm-hmm.
It's bad. And then all of a sudden, a man in livery comes
Beecham
to her door. Comes to knock on her door is what happens.
It's knock. So I know that word. The K is silent.
Sick burn.
That's how we pronounce it in English, okay?
Sick burn.
Yeah, it is
All
a
right.
sick burn.
All right.
It's mean. That's what it is.
So basically, he's like, Sherry needs you at our hometown, the estate, because Harriet's dying. Harriet has got a fevered.
Yes.
She's become a fevered.
She's dying.
Basically, they don't have penicillin. They don't
Does
have
this bitch die? Is this not a romance?
Okay. So here's what happens. She rides and rides and rides and rides on her horse flesh. Yeah, the ka-tunk with the coconuts. And she gets to the place and like the edge of town or whatever on Burnsea. And she comes in contact with some soldiers. And the soldiers are like, this place is quarantined. I'm sorry. And she's like, the Earl of the place has asked me to be here personally. So you need to like, let me in. This is important. And he's like, pretty sure he meant you to get here before it got quarantined. Because like now nobody's in or out. And she's like, I rode like a motherfucker. How dare you?
It is my half birthday.
That's the one.
Let me in.
You have to treat me nice on my half birthday.
It is my half birthday week.
Like the whole month is my half birthday, I think.
Half holiday birthday in Bernsey.
So she like turns around and she's all downtrodden and she's like shoulder slumped, ka-tonk, 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 very slowly, you know? It's not like the ride up. And then she's like, I think I've got enough of a head start. I think I've put enough distance in between me and that fucking gate. And so she turns her horse around.
But Melody, the quarantine.
She whips that horse into shape and that horse goes, ka-chow, right to the line. And it's a galloping and a gallop. Yeah. And the soldiers are there and then they see what's happening. And they're like, we need to get out of the way.
The
because
quarantine.
This horse flesh is coming right at us.
The stomps.
The stomping, I think, is what happens. So, and then the horse goes, and then just like, goes to jump over.
She's jumping. She's
the
showing
fence
with her hands.
Oh
it's
my god.
It's like a Free Willy style gesture.
It's like that.
Yeah.
And then she goes, and she lands.
Free Willy landed in the water.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's different sound.
Different landing.
Yeah, it wasn't doing a Free Willy land.
Oh, okay.
It was just a Free Willy kind of jump.
Yeah.
Then a different kind of,
yeah.
A terrestrial land.
Yeah. It is a land animal.
A horse?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant a Free Willy, and I was like, that's not
it makes sense that the horse would land on land and that the whale would land on ocean. Because the whale is an ocean and the horse is a land.
That's right. A horse is a land.
I'm crossing over into the other phase.
Are you crying a little bit? I know, we're so tired. Okay, here's what happens. The book basically wraps up right now. So she goes up to the thing, the manor of the place. And Sherry's like, oh my God, Spaniel, I'm so glad you got here. You have to doctor my sister and you can't let her die. And if she lives, then like you guys can do whatever the fuck you want. I'm cool with it. I give you my blessing if you bring her back to life. Because he's brought like 6 doctors out there or whatever. They're all like bleeding her.
Nora's not a doctor.
No, but she's an excellent.
She's a love.
That's right.
It's like Snow White.
It's similar to that, except with a lot more herbs.
Yeah.
And a lot more tinctures.
Tincture.
Yeah, and a lot more like.
Do that with a spit.
Yep. Yeah, so she goes up and she's doctoring and she's making drafts.
Oh, you tell me, Melody. You tell me.
And she's cold compressing and she's, she's pleading with her and everything.
Yeah.
And Harriet gets better.
Yeah.
Is what happens.
Good.
Oh, and then there's some really fun, beautiful negotiations at the end. Because they're like, do you want to be Nathaniel forever? Like, because if we get married, you got to be Nathaniel or whatever. And I'm so sorry.
You're trying to find out what she decides. Because we don't know.
Listen, we don't know. And then I was looking for it, and I found this other
to be
passage.
Nora, because remember we had that whole discussion in the first book about how we do not believe she's a transgendered person.
She's not.
Right. So I think she decides to be Nora.
She doesn't.
She doesn't?
No, she decides to be Nathaniel for the rest of her life.
So they can be married.
I
see.
Yeah.
But she still identifies as a woman. She's just dressing as a man so that she can marry the woman she loves.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really sweet. Do you want to hear a crazy passage, though, that I just found?
I have always wanted to hear every crazy passage.
Oh, my God. Because here's the other thing that happens, Erin.
No.
The Duke dies of his flesh wound.
What Duke?
The brother Duke.
Oh.
Yeah, the heir to the thing.
Well, I take it back.
I know. Dueling killed him.
Yeah. Hashtag good job dueling.
Yeah.
Good job.
I think
Good
it
job
was
dueling.
the dueling. Yeah, good job dueling. Yeah, I think it was the dueling that killed him, or it was a sickness.
Yeah.
Who knows?
He got an infection.
One of those. So he dies. So that's the thing. She decides to be Nathaniel so that she can be the Duke of the thing.
She's a Duke.
No, listen, I don't think it's a Duke. She's a whatever she is. She's a
Earl.
Could be a Marcus.
A Marcus.
A Marquis.
It's Marcus seems. Oh my God.
Fuck.
2020 cannot get here fast enough.
I know. We're not there yet, though, so we can't expect ourselves to be intellectuals yet.
We just decided this less than an hour ago.
We've got some studying to do.
Yeah, and we're doing it right now by reading
this time travel book.
Like this.
Oh, yeah, like this one. It starts out fine. It starts out like this. You're a great friend, damn you. Damn the whole business. What was I meant to have done? And then she says, Major? And he says, it put me deuced out of countenance.
Deuced.
That you were hermaphrodite. That my sister, but by God, it pricked me to blazes that there should be something about you I did not know.
What does it mean?
So,
hermaphrodite, I understood that word.
But it's not at all applied correctly.
No.
So he's like, basically, that you were a woman dressed as a man, super upset about that. That my sister, like, I learned at the same time that my sister's into ladies. That was a shock. So then the last part of it, I'm pretty sure, means that after like a dozen years of friendship or whatever, it really made him mad that there was something about Nathaniel that he didn't know, that Nathaniel was actually Nora. It's sort of sweet.
Yeah.
If you look past all the problems.
Yeah.
So then there's this whole scene where she like remembers her grandmother putting together tinctures, because that's what she's doing right now. She's doing a vinegar and an herbs. She's trying to do a tincture. And then it ends like that. They have a whole talk. Harriet gets better. The fever comes to its crisis and breaks. And Harry's okay. And then she decides to be Nathaniel so that she can be Lord of the everything. And they get married. The end, I think. Pretty sure.
We did it!
We did it, you guys!
Okay. All I can think about in the last like 10 minutes here is like this podcast and maybe just our now heaving bosoms.
Oh no.
Is now akin to like drunk history.
Oh.
Or like when somebody posts a YouTube video of like their wife trying to explain the plot of Star Wars when she's never seen it. You know, like one of those.
Oh.
That's like,
we're never drunk, Erin.
The dark. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. And I'm thinking about it and I'm like, oh my God, we're just.
Oh.
Idiots.
We've become everything we hate.
What if one of those other podcasts does this book and like just knows all the words?
Oh, I would be so excited to listen to that.
You
Honestly,
would?
Yeah.
I would crawl into a hole and die.
No.
And quit the podcast.
No, there are people who this is their thing.
You should have so much fun doing this podcast with Tanya.
Don't you dare.
Oh my God.
Don't you
would
dare.
Die. We're sorry.
We are. Listen.
From here on out.
Are you going to make some promises we can't keep?
No, I'm going to make promises I promise to keep.
Whoa. Be careful.
I'm going to know about the books.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm going to read them.
Okay.
I'm going to know. Here's my promise to you, HBs. From here
I like
on
that you're
out,
already backtracking a little bit.
I will read every book, which I have mostly done. Books I have not read. The very end of A Court of Thorns and Roses we talked about already.
Yeah.
But I faked it pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And even Melody didn't know that I didn't read the end of that book.
That's right.
What was the other one you just told me the end because I didn't remember it? I don't know. There's only been like 2 books that I didn't get to the end of.
Yeah.
Listen, okay? I promise that I will never not get to the end of a book again, even though I got to the end of this book. Anyway, I will try my best to pronounce all of the characters' names. That is my vow.
That you're going to remember their names?
Pronounce
all
of their names. I will try my best to think about it.
Yeah.
And pronounce them well. I will also take notes.
What?
I'm going to take notes.
Erin.
I've been embarrassed by this podcast. This episode has embarrassed me.
You're finally going to take notes?
I'm going to take notes.
This is what did it?
Sometimes they might be mental notes.
Oh, no, Erin, that doesn't count.
Locked right up in this noggin.
Yep, that's a good caveat.
I'm going to resolve to take notes.
Wow. I'm impressed.
Don't be yet.
Just that resolution is really impressive. I'm excited.
Hard because like when you're reading, you're not always in your paper.
I take notes on my phone.
Yeah, I don't like, ugh.
Oh, okay. Yeah, fair.
It's hard. You got to do the texting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm also pretty embarrassed about this podcast because we still, like, we work hard at
We're
this.
smart.
This is our hobby.
We have advanced degrees.
We do.
Yeah.
This is just not my wheelhouse.
No.
And I also wasn't going to, like, try to morph into a different human for this book.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not going to be somebody who you want us to. We are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can't be anybody else.
Fuck intellectualism in 2020. No, intellectualism 2020. We're going to do it. We're going to be better. Okay.
We are.
All right.
Yeah, it's not hard. We just have to be better.
Be better.
I think we can always improve. We can always improve. We should always be honing our craft, Erin.
Honing.
Yeah. We're going to hone it.
Hone it.
Hone it.
Do you have a lady love?
Nope. Do you?
Yes. Cozy, sleepy sleep. The sleepiest sleep you can get. If you can find a cozy spot to curl up and sleep instead of staying awake for 24 hours, just curl up into that bed and give yourself a snooze because your brain needs to rest.
Yeah, it does.
In the night.
It does.
So
yes,
do that.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I'm like 3-4 days post Taiwan, which is a 14-hour flight and a 12-hour time difference. So like jet lag is serious business, especially when you have kids who also have jet lag.
Kid fell asleep sitting up at the dinner table tonight and it was great.
It was the cutest thing. Oh my gosh, you know what? My lady love is prank your fucking kids.
Your husband drew on his face with a Sharpie and then said, that'll teach him for not hanging. It was incredible.
It was one of the best moments
That'll teach
ever.
him to not hang.
That's right.
With eating dinner with his parents' lentil soup.
He's 3.
Yeah, he's 3.
You gotta learn him young, Erin.
And then when I was like, Michael, he was like, what? I didn't draw a dick on his face. Which is true.
Yeah, there's no dick on his face.
No dick. Yeah.
Cutest thing, though, about that whole interaction is that Michael has a mole over his lip. It's almost like a Marilyn Monroe mole.
Yeah, it's exactly where Melody got her piercing.
Which I didn't realize at the time. That's
did.
how oblivious I am.
I was like, weird, guys, but okay.
Yeah, I had no idea. I thought it was on the other side. I'm a dumbass.
Yeah.
So anyway, what he drew on Ember's face was a mole in the exact same position.
It was very cute.
I'm very excited about it.
Oh,
Yeah,
it was
prank
so
your kids.
funny. They kept being like, let's go to bed. And then he kept like shaking his head and then just powering down. Like,
Just melting. At
just
one
couldn't
point,
even hold his little head up. Oh,
little head?
yeah. Oh, it's big for his body.
Kid's got a giant
Yeah.
head.
Mhm.
In fact, one day he bumped into something and all I heard from the next room was, oh, my big ol' head.
Great. Awesome.
Yeah. So anyway, that's my lady love. Prank your kids.
Yeah, prank them.
Yeah, especially if they're jet lagged.
Yeah. Good.
All right. You can find us on all the places. Instagram @HeavingBosoms. Twitter @Heaving_Bosoms. Facebook, Heaving Bosoms Podcast. That is our page. We also have a closed group. It's the happiest place on the internet. That's called the Heaving Bosoms Podcast Geriatric Friendship Cult. You will have to owe us all of your possessions. Then we have our website, which is www.heavingbosomspodcast.com. From there, you can get things like our Patreon. Patreon.
Bonus content
Oh, yeah.
and yearly gifts.
That's patreon.com/heavingbosoms.
You can get to the
Podcast?
the HB reading embrace.
Yeah.
Our books to read in 2019.
Our very low-key
Our
books to read.
merch
Yeah, we got merches.
from our independent art about podcast art.
Yeah, Rachel Ross's art was incredible. So that seems like it. Oh, and if you want to shoot us a little email,
Yeah,
little
go for it.
email,
We're not going to reply. Here's
we
the thing.
could
We
possibly
might.
reply.
You know what?
Don't make
Hashtag
any promises.
hashtag emails in 2021.
Oh, no. Oh, emails 2020.
21. Emails 2021.
Okay, well, let's just table that.
Yeah, we're tabling it. 2021.
Okay.
All right.
That is heavingbosoms.podcast@gmail.com. So come at us. Keep being a badass.
And love yourself as much as you love
Erin's hypothetical friend.
Swindle.
Who festooning
a swindle Bart.
That's what your friend did, right? Against that tree.
And you know what?
What's up?
She doesn't regret it.
That's right.
And she doesn't regret talking about it either.
She also bought stock in Neosporin after that.
Yeah, because you know what? Maybe she helped another lady out to know.
Through you. You were the conduit.
Through me. Yeah. Because maybe by telling her story, she helped other ladies not get so hurt.
That's right.
Yeah. So let's applaud her strength and bravery.
I have been.
How about that?
I actually don't even think it was that brave. It shouldn't be a big deal.
After the podcast, I'll tell you who it is.
I cannot wait to find out this person's identity. I'm pretty sure I know her.
You met her at my wedding, so. All right.
All right, Erin.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.
Love you.
It's
Bye.
not bye. I'm here. We're just gonna stay here.
Oh. Hey, you. Yes, listener, you. Are you loving the show? If so, please leave a rating and review in your podcast app. The 90 seconds you take to say something nice not only helps new people find the show, but it makes me super smile over at HBHQ. Also, I've had a few people ask, and the answer is yes. We are still doing the 5-star bribe. If you leave us a review with 5 stars, then we'll do whatever book you want. We're real deep into the list, though, so it might be a while. Lilas! Okay, back to the show.